Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius.
And welcome to the Tiberius Show today. And I'm your host, Tiberius Boy. And as always, we're looking at various jobs and how they affect the world around us. Today's class is going to be very interesting. We're going to do with Sci-Fi writer and co-founder of Jumpmaster Press. Do you have any idea what a sci-fi writer does? Well, I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But hey, let's talk to this guy and find out. Let me introduce our next guest. The one, the only, the amazing Kyle Hanna.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so you are a science fiction author. Well, can you explain to us exactly what do you do?
I create worlds and oftentimes kill people on paper. That's the short version. It's a little more complicated than that, but that's basically it. Create worlds and kill people on paper.
Interesting. So what sparked your interest to become an author of sci-fi books?
I've always had a very vivid imagination, and honestly, it all started in high school. Back then, and in the ancient times, they didn't know what ADD was. So it was either find something productive to do quietly or get sent to the principal's office every day and then get in trouble when I got home. So I decided I would put my imagination to use, and I started writing in high school.
Yeah, do not want to get in trouble. Trust me, guys.
No.
Sixth grade year was not good. So did you just wake up one day and decide you wanted to write books, or why did you do it? And why sci-fi?
Well, sci-fi because I love outer space and spaceships and lasers and all that, that cool stuff from growing up with Buck Rogers and Star Wars and Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica and all those other late 70s, early 80s shows. And, well, honestly, I really never really took it seriously till I was deployed to Afghanistan with the Army. And I was sitting in my office and I pulled out a notepad and actually started writing with pen and paper and wrote my first full-length novel sitting in Afghanistan in 2003.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, how do you think the writing science fiction makes the world a better place for today's youth?
I am not a hard science writer, okay? I am an entertaining writer. So if you want to look at the hard science with space elevators and ion drives and all that stuff, I am not your guy. But if you want action adventure with starship battles and alien worlds and political intrigue and pirates, I've got space pirates, then, I'm your guy. I love to just write the action. It's the movie that I want to see on paper. I'll put it that way.
Ah, okay. So what makes sci-fi different rather than romance or mystery?
The action, I think, with at least in my books, it's the action and the story. It's a page turner. You want to see what happens next. With a mystery, sometimes it's a slow burn where you're trying to get to the meat of the story and figure out who done it. I don't write romance, so I can't answer that one at all.
Okay. Well, are ebooks becoming more popular than hardcover books? And, well, why?
They did for a while because they were new. When we go to conventions, we sell a ton of physical paperback and hardback books. I'd say right now the market, at least for what we see, is about 50-50 for our books. A lot of people like the ease of a Kindle, of an ebook, where you can take 100 books with you on a trip. And a lot of people like to have that physical copy in their hand while they're, say, reading by the pool or out on the back porch or whatever it is. We see sales in both, and our audiobooks as well.
Ah, okay. So, what's the average price of an ebook versus a hardcover book?
That depends. I know some of my more famous author friends, they'll sell their ebooks for $10. Most of them on Amazon are somewhere between $5 and $10. I know on Jumpmaster Press, we sell them for 99 cents.
Good for you. That's really good price.
Well, the work has been done. We want to give the reader their choice. So, we're not out to gouge anyone. We want everyone to be a happy reader. So we try to keep our prices reasonable.
Now, what's the coolest part about writing sci-fi books?
Well, there's a couple of things. Being able to create new worlds and new alien life forms with all their little quirks, that's kind of cool. I enjoy it because of the feedback I get from readers. They'll come up and go, I didn't see this twist coming, or man, when this character did this, I was in tears. And it's the feedback from the writers. When they come up to me and say, I loved your book, that's the best part right there.
Okay. Now, here seems like a good time to take a quick commercial break. Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
So you want to make an ad for your company, right?
Yeah, Tiberius, you want to help me?
Okay, so what's the name of the company?
PPWND.
PP what?
Professional Pressure Washing and Detailing.
So you like clean driveways?
Yeah, like that. We pressure wash commercial buildings and semi-truck and trailers.
So how would someone get a hold of you?
They can visit my site at ppwnd.com or call me at 407-900-7793.
So I just tell them to call you at 407-900-7793 or visit ppwnd.com?
Yeah, Tiberius, you got it.
Cut, that's a wrap. Just use that.
Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com.
And we're back here talking with Kyle Hanna. Kyle is an author as well as a co-founder of Jumpmaster Press. So, about your ebooks, tell me which one of the books that you have published that you enjoy writing the most. Which one was the hardest to finish?
Ooh, that's tough. Hardest to finish is probably the one that's upcoming. It's called Terran Coalition, and it took me about 12 years to finish this story because I just couldn't find the right pieces to fit up until about the last year and a half. And I turned a 4-book series, I condensed it down into 2. It was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of work to make sure all the pieces fit together. And when it comes out in October, I hope people enjoy it.
Okay,
now,
well...
You asked which one was my favorite. I'm probably going to say No Harbor. It's a space pirates. So it was a lot of fun to write something with pirates 200 years in the future. So that was a lot of fun.
Well, good. Okay, well, I noticed that you've published many sci-fi books. Well, one book, Harvest Day, it won you an award. Well, can you explain to us your experience in being honored as it being the best sci-fi novel?
Yeah, it came as quite a shock. It was right at the start of COVID, so I didn't get to attend the awards banquet when they presented the trophy. I got it a year later. But it won Best Sci-Fi Novel at the Imagine Awards in 2020. It is it's a dystopian after the aliens invade kind of story. And that one has a lot of twists and turns. I hope that people don't see until they get there. My editor loved it. My beta readers loved it. My wife actually says it's Buck Rogers meets the Hunger Games. So if that's enticing, by all means, go get your copy and tell me what you think yourself.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
well,
thought
you were
so.
also the winner of not one, but two Pinnacle Book Awards. Well,
Yeah.
tell me more about what that award is all about.
Um, it's an award you send in your book, and they vote on it, and you win. My second novel, Time Assassins. It's an alternate history time travel. It won, and my seventh book, the Jake Cutter Conspiracy. It's the first book of a sci-fi saga. It won as well, and then like a couple of years later, Harvest Day. So
Yeah.
every few years I win something. So you know what? I'm due. So let's go, people. Let's go. I'm due.
Well, give me an example of how you make the storylines for one of your books.
Sometimes literally it all comes in a dream, and I get up and I write it all down. Sometimes I'll be driving down the road. I'll pick up my phone and give myself a voice memo. And that gives me the highlight, the plot points. And then I kind of go in and fill in all the in-between stuff. I'm currently working on on outlining a 5-book set. So there's a lot of things going in so that I can tie book 1 to book 4 and book 2 to book 5 and so on and so forth. And so that's taking a lot of plotting to get those things right.
Interesting. Okay. Well, are any of your characters based on real people?
Not really. There's a couple of people that have maybe influenced some characterizations, a quirky walk or, a speech pattern or something like that. But nothing I can say definitively that was based on a person. I've had some friends of mine ask me, "Hey, write a character based on me."
Well,
All right, you got a deal, but if you would like, but
Sure.
I have to give a disclaimer. I am sort of notorious for killing off characters. So if you
Great.
suddenly just wink out of existence, sorry, dude.
Okay, well, out of all the books that you've written, which one is your favorite character in the book and why?
Well,
No, it's not the story, it's the character.
the character. Yeah, I know. Well, you got to figure over 15 books, there's a couple of hundred characters in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to my upcoming Terran Coalition novel. And I've got a Colonel Bryson McTavish. He's a Scottish infantry guy, and he makes general in the story and retires. And there's one scene that I wrote. He's sitting on a dock in the Highlands of Scotland, fishing pole in the water, and one of his guys comes up and says, "What are you doing?" He says, "Well, I'm looking for Nessie." And he goes, the other character says, "You're fishing for the Loch Ness Monster?" He goes, "Why not? I'm retired." So it's those kind of, character quirks and everything. It's a lot of fun. And that's why I said, I hope the readers enjoy them.
Yeah. Well, my dad and I love sci-fi. I mean, one of our favorite shows is Star Trek. Hey, it's where my name came from. Well, have you ever watched Star Trek?
Oh, yes.
Really? Okay.
Well, all of them.
We can safely say that we are Trekkies. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah. I got one for you, too, since we're all Trekkies here. And I know later on we're going to talk about Jumpmaster Press. But actually, one of our authors is Armin Shimmerman, who played Quark on Deep Space Nine.
Oh, wow.
He's
interesting.
He's also an author as a Shakespearean actor. He wrote a book loosely based around Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. And let me tell you, it is a fantastic read. Not only is he a great actor, he's a great author as well. So we're so happy to have him with Jumpmaster Press.
Okay. Well, on a different topic, what's the most misunderstood part about your business? Not books, but Jumpmaster Press.
Yeah, a lot of people, and I got this after I published my first book. They're like, oh man, you're rich. You're an author. And like, no. But honestly, the hardest part is as an author, especially a new author, their first, sometimes even their second book, they finish it. Here you are, world. You're welcome. Give me the millions. And it just doesn't work that way.
No.
There's a lot of work involved. Writing the story is actually the easy part. The marketing, the social media, the public appearances. There's so much more that you have to do as an author to be successful. And that's the hard part. Writing is easy. It's the business. And for anyone who wants to be an author, this is a business, guys, whether you're self-published or with a traditional publisher or somewhere in between. This is a business and you have to treat it as such. So writing is the easy part. The marketing and the selling, that's the hard part.
Okay, so it's said in your bio that you're also the co-founder of Jumpmaster Press. Well, tell me about the company and how you came up with the name.
Well, I was on my 6th or 7th book and my 3rd publisher. And my business partner, Gene, he was finishing up his first book. And he said, okay, now what do I do? And I said, well, I can tell you what not to do because my last 3 authors did a laundry list of stuff I didn't like. He said, well, write that down and we won't do that. We'll just create our own company. So that's what we did. All the lessons I learned the hard way, we decided to, not do that to our authors. And Gene and I both served in the Army together. We were both paratroopers and jumpmasters. We threw people out of aircraft for a living.
Nice.
So when the name came around, he goes, Jumpmaster Press, boom, done. And you can see it right here, Jumpmaster Press. So that's how the name and the company came into being. It was just, I learned all the lessons the hard way, so we don't treat our authors that way.
Well, do you sponsor authors or just sell their books on your website? Or
Yes,
do all the authors only write sci-fi novels like you do?
No, we're open to multiple genres. We currently represent more than 30 authors from around the world. Sci-fi, fantasy, time travel, murder mysteries, children's books, thrillers. We've got a little bit of everything. So, when we go to a convention, we set up and we are a bookstore. So, and that's what we do. We sell books.
Okay, well, does Jumpmaster Press simply sell ebooks or also printed books?
We do ebooks, we do print books, we do hardbacks, box sets. We have a brand new product line called the Black Spine Collection, and it is black paper with white ink. And those, if you check out our website, jumpmasterpress.com, you'll see them all right there on the front page. They are gorgeous books like Dracula, Frankenstein, Edgar Allan Poe, and we're about to launch some more next week, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, we do a little bit of everything. We have audiobooks as well on our YouTube channel. So we are a full-fledged publisher, and we try to act that way.
Okay. Well, what's the craziest thing that has happened while you were doing your passion as a writer or a business owner?
Writer or business, craziest thing. Oh man, that's a tough one. I'm going to go with just celebrities just walking up and go, dude, we've heard of you guys through Armin or saw your podcast or whatever, and just start talking to us. These guys and gals with hundreds of thousands of followers on social media, and they come over to talk to us just out of the blue. And, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it always amazes me when someone comes around and just, shakes your hand and says, hi, I read your book, or, just whatever it is. It's always amazing.
I learned today that you can't just say, oh, I read your book. You have to say which book you read. That way,
In a lot of
they know
cases,
what
absolutely.
you read.
Yep.
Okay, so who can you say was the person that helped drive your passion the most?
Probably my favorite author, William Dietz. And I always loved his sci-fi, his military sci-fi. And I had a couple of his books with me in Afghanistan. And after I started plotting mine, I looked to his books for the inspiration. And about 10 years ago, I actually got to meet him. And I gave him one of my books, and he signed a couple of his. And we talked for like an hour. He came over, sat down at my table, and we just talked about writing and everything. And so, Bill, if you see this, thank you so much. It's great. We're still friends to this day. We talk on social media every once in a while. But when someone who has made it will take the time to sit down with someone who's just starting off, man, that means so much. And if you can mentor someone, by all means, do it. It means so much to get somebody, get them motivated and get them moving in the right direction.
Okay, so what is the best advice that you've ever received? And, well, who gave you that advice?
Honestly, I'm going to say Gene gave me the best advice. I was writing something, and I said, "Hey, man, what do you think of this?" And he just gave me this quirky look and said, "Be a better writer." And I'm like, "Okay, all right, fine, I got you."
Wow.
Yeah, and I went back. I went one step back to go, 3 steps forward. And it sounds crazy, but be a better writer. That's the motivation right there that we use on each other all the time. It sounds mean, but it's actually not. It's, learn your craft. That's the underlying thing. Like I said, this is a business. So
yeah, it is.
You've got to learn your craft. Very few people have this just natural ability to put words on paper and people swoon. You got to learn how to write, learn how to market, learn how to present it. And so I'm lucky enough to have had people encourage me along the way. And Gene is one of them.
Well, what was the very first job that you've ever had, and how did it mold you, and to be a better author and business owner?
Are you talking about just first job in general or first job as an author?
First job ever.
I worked at Dairy Queen when I was 16.
Wow.
Any job at that age, it's there to teach you responsibility and punctuality and, to do the hard work. And, I left that job, went to college, joined the Army. So everything I've done has been, to build the discipline to sit down and write and do the research and learn and, try to put forth the best product possible. And Dairy Queen, 1984, to date myself. I had that job for 2 years before I went off to college. And it was great, back then.
Well, what message do you want to tell children all over the world about doing the work that you do?
Have fun with it. If you want to be a writer, you got to pay attention in English and pay attention in marketing class or whatever. But the bottom line is have fun. If what you're writing isn't fun for you, it's not going to be fun for the reader. So, if you get bored with it, they're going to get bored with it. So have fun. No matter what you do, make the best of it and have a good time while you're doing it.
Well, on that note, let's take a quick break to pay some bills.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about Custom Designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius
sent you.
Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
And we're back with Kyle Hanna, the sci-fi author and co-founder of Jumpmaster Press. Okay,
Hello.
So at what age level do you think people should learn to do this type of work? Or is there like an age limit to start writing?
No, not really. My 11-year-old godson approached me at church about a month ago. He goes, I got an idea for a story. And we stood, right outside of church for about 30 minutes with him telling the story. And,
Wow.
Everyone has their imagination. And it's just a matter of taking the time, sit down and write it out. I've still got all the stuff from my high school. It's garbage. It's horrendous. But looking back on it, that's where I started.
Yeah.
And that was my building block for where I am today with 15 novels out. I've actually gone back and used some of those characters and situations and whatnot in my more recent writing. So no, there's no age limit. Find your happiness and do it, and have fun with it.
Yeah. So, what was that one thing that happened in your career that you did not expect?
I'm going to go back to Armin on this one. In 2019, we were doing a convention in Louisville, Kentucky, and I was just walking by, just saying hi to the celebrities, not really doing much of anything. And he was sitting at his table. So I started talking to him, and I had around my neck, I had one of our ebook cards. And he said, "What is that?" I said, "It's how we do ebooks. I'm a publisher, and that's how we sell ebooks." He said, "Well, I wrote a book." And I said, "This is Armin Shimmerman, whatever." I said, so I pulled out a business card. I handed it to him. I said, well, why don't you send it to me? I'd love to take a look. Never in a million years did I think that Armin Shimmerman would send it to a company that had been in business for a year. About a week later, it shows up in my inbox. And, it's been a roller coaster ride ever since. It's been great.
Dang. Well, what have you learned about yourself that you wish that you knew earlier in life?
About myself?
Yeah.
That I can do it. Like I said, I wrote in high school, but I never really took it seriously. It was just something to occupy my time. And then when I got back from Afghanistan, I put the novel on the shelf and forgot about it for about 7 years.
Wow.
And then in 2010, I pulled my first novel off the shelf and dusted it off, did some quick edits, and that was my start. And once I've been 14 years ago. So yeah, the surprise is you can do it. Just don't give up. Just keep that perseverance and motivation. You can do it.
Well, if you could go back in time and give your 13-year-old self advice, and that's a long time ago, but 13-year-old, what would it be?
Invest in Apple. As far as writing, pay more attention in English class. That would be a start, and take it seriously sooner. Going back to your previous question, it's never too young to start because you're using your imagination, and whether it's your imagination or your muscles or whatever it is, you work them out to make them stronger. Your writing skills, you be a better writer. You write to learn how. So don't give up. It's never too late or too early to start.
Now, what was the biggest mistake that you've ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
You talking about writing or just in general?
Just in general.
Oh, biggest mistake ever. Ugh. That's a tough one. um, I'm going to stick with writing. It might be safer. Uh, one thing we tell all of our writers is never pay to get your book published. Either do it yourself or find a publisher that's willing to invest in you. So my biggest mistake is my very first book, I paid to get published. So that was one of the mistakes I made starting off. I wanted the book in my hand, so I paid for it. I got it. About a year or two later, I let them go and went with my second publisher, and it was there that I started learning how to truly write. And everything kept just growing from there. Jumpmaster Press is actually my fourth publisher, and I own the company. But my books still go through the editing process just like all the other authors. There's no special treatment here.
Yeah. So when you're not working, what do you do for fun?
Well, I'm retired from the military, so this is my office, and this is what I do most every day. I come in, I edit, I write, I do company business, and then I'll for fun I go out, I sit by the pool, I go for walks, play with the dogs, go to the shooting range, whatever it is, just. But even in retirement, I have a nice work-life balance, and I'm busier now than I was when I was working full-time. So it's great.
So what is your favorite book to read?
Well, a couple of years ago, I got hooked on Larry Correa, so I'm going to give him a shout out. And the Monster Hunter series, his House of Assassins series, great stuff. And I thoroughly enjoyed reading his. And then he's got so many guest authors come in. I've started branching off. I've met so many great authors over the last year, contemporaries of mine. It's weird to say that, contemporaries of mine. So I'm reading all of their stuff, and I'm having a blast reading and getting able to write in some of their universes. It's a lot of fun. So yeah.
Okay. Now, can you tell me that one story? Remember, this is a kid show. That one story, well, that you're not supposed to tell me about. Come on, you can tell me.
One story I'm not supposed to say. Well, why did you have to ask me that embarrassing thing? Let's see. Well, that is a tough one. I'll tell you, it was embarrassing, but it was a lot of fun at the same time. While I was in Afghanistan, they asked me to be a psych patient during an indirect fire drill. And for those of you who don't know what that is, they pretend that artillery is coming into the camp. Everybody's supposed to go and get in their bunkers and whatnot till the shelling is over. And then someone plays casualty where, the camp responds. Well, they made the mistake of asking me to be a psych patient. So for about 30 minutes, I ran around the camp screaming, the British were coming, the British were coming. And then I got into something from the old A-Team where I was looking for my lost dog, Billy. And if anyone's ever seen the early 80s A-Team, Howlin' Mad Murdoch had an imaginary dog named Billy. So I went through every bunker, and this is while, quote unquote, artillery's coming down. I went through every bunker, every building, asking for my dog, Billy. Had anybody seen him? And that ended up with a chase. I was being chased through the camp. I got tackled. I got beat on. and finally duct taped to a chair and taken to the med shed for evaluation. So that was the fun part. What was embarrassing was for about the next 2 months, the rest of my time in Bagram, I kept getting people from other units and other nations even coming up. You're the dog guy, right? You're the dog guy. And they were asking me if I ever found my dog. And everybody was so funny about it, except for the British, because they had heard that I ran through saying the British are coming, like Paul Revere. They were not happy. But everybody else seemed to have a blast. And every time somebody asked me, I would just get this deep shade of red because it was, it was my claim to fame, my 15 minutes. And, but that story is written, and I have a collection of short stories called There We Were, No Bleep, that you can get. And, it's a $5 paperback. It's short stories, but that story is in there. It's called Where's My Dog? And that is my claim to fame on my first deployment.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you?
I love to write. I love to entertain. But I am an introvert, believe it or not. So I will happily talk to you all day long at a convention or here. But as soon as this is over, I'm going to go, crawl into my easy chair downstairs and recover, because I'm an introvert, believe it or not. So.
Okay, we'll do a Facebook or website for my listeners to follow you.
Yes, I'm on Facebook. It's R. Kyle Hanna Writer. On Instagram, it's R. Kyle Hanna. On Twitter X, it's R. Kyle Hanna. And my website is jumpmasterpress.com. All of my books are out there.
Sweet. Well, what is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
Where am I going to be next?
Well,
So we have 3 more conventions this year. North Charleston, South Carolina, for Incredible Con in September. The Chattanooga Comic-Con in Chattanooga, Tennessee in October, and the Music City Comic-Con in Lebanon, Tennessee in November. And then we take a couple of months off, and February or March of next year, we'll start all over.
Well, thank you, Kyle, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Aw, Dad, my computer's slow again and I can't play my games.
Call Your Computer Solutions today, and we will scan for viruses and clean that computer up remotely and make it fast again. Our phone number is 407-826-0810.
Thanks, Dad. My computer's fast again. Now I can do my homework. Thanks for calling Your Computer Solutions at 407-826-0810.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
And thank you, Kyle, for helping me with Math Corners. This week, we're going to solve multi-step word problems. My dad's always going to find new problems for me to solve. Today, we're going to talk about Sci-Fi convention. Whoa. So, the ratio of staff to guests at a Sci-Fi event was 3 to 5. There were a total of 576 people in the convention center. How many guests were at the Sci-Fi event?
You really expect me to answer this? Come on, man.
Yes.
Yes. 12.
I'm
12?
joking. I'm joking. Well, first, there's a real-world problem because, well, we all do like sci-fi conventions, and without staff, there would be no one to run it.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so to solve this problem, you have to set up a proportion of guests to the total number of people, which is 8 over 5 equals x over 576. And, well, now you have to multiply 8 times x, so you get 8x, and 5 times 576, and you get 2,880. Now you have to do 8x divided by, I have 8x equals 2,880. Now divide both sides by 8. Now 2,880 divided by 8. Let's get a trusty calculator real quick. 360. So X equals 360. So 360 guests were at the convention. So Kyle, did you ever have to figure out how many crazy math questions like this when you were in school?
When I was in school, yes, but that was back in ancient times. And so, we used fingers and toes and abacuses.
So my teacher said that I would use math every day. How do you use math with your work?
Well, we do percentages of sales for cost of goods and royalties, and we use math every day because this is a business, and we got to add and subtract and multiply and divide and do all kind of funky spreadsheets. And I spent all morning doing that very thing, so I am mathed out for the day.
Well, thank you so much, Kyle, for your help with Math Corners.
Thank you.
And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the Heart of a Lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. This week, we're going to talk about integrity. For me, I think integrity is doing what is right, even when no one else is looking. The qualities of integrity is honesty, sincerity, truthfulness, and fairness. Now, some of my dad's friends were at Epcot in the Mexican Pavilion and were about to have dinner. Well, a person in front of them dropped money on the floor. When they picked up the bills, it was 7 $100 bills. Wow, $700. You can buy tons of Big Macs with that. They easily walked away and kept the money and bought those Big Macs. The person did not notice that they had dropped it. And they felt bad and ran after the man and gave him back the $700. And he was so thankful that he brought a smile to their faces. So, Kyle, did you see or use Lion Strong Virtues at all this week?
I did see some virtues. Some of our authors came with us the last 2 weeks while we were on the road. And their spouses helped us with the load in, the load out, the packing, and didn't ask, but they stepped up because they're part of the Jumpmaster Press family. They stepped up and cut our loadout time in half.
Wow.
Instead of an hour or hour and a half of pack out, we packed out in 45 minutes to an hour. Didn't ask, but they just did it because of their noble, their nobility. And
Nice.
That's why we consider everyone in Jumpmaster Press part of the family. And we appreciate all of our authors, their spouses and significant others, and everyone that supports us. We thank you all.
Of all of the Heart of the Lion virtues, which is the one that you see the most?
Integrity, I think. I see a lot of people doing the right thing, whether it's at a convention and, helping someone in their time of, in a moment of need, or just like you said, hey, you dropped that dollar bill there on the floor, whatever it is. I see a lot of it, and it restores our faith in humanity. So kudos to humans.
Yeah. Well, we should always try to be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
Absolutely, 100%.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Kyle Hanna for being on my show. It has been so much fun talking to you today. I think we learned a lot about your career as a sci-fi writer and co-founder of Jumpmaster Press. Maybe you can send me some of your authors and sit in my hot seat.
You got it. You got it.
Well, do you mind giving your social media and website again?
Absolutely. You can follow me on R. Kyle Hanna Writer on Facebook, R. Kyle Hanna on Instagram, and R. Kyle Hanna on Twitter X.
You can also find me.
My website is jumpmasterpress.com.
Okay. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Tiberius Show. And I want to thank WWPR 1490 AM, Canteen 98, Soul Radio 24/7, Easyway TV, and all the other stations that air on my show. Now, please visit The Tiberius Show on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Kyle, are you subscribed yet?
I will be very, very shortly.
Okay, I trust you. Oh, and be sure to leave me a comment with whoever you want me to interview next. I answer all the comments myself, and also be sure to listen to us next week on The Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.